when that happened. But yeah, let's get back into this where you've got some subsidies that are happening for sports events, including the NFL. There's always controversy over whether or not you've got the sports complex like a stadium getting carve-outs. We've seen something on a much smaller scale in Springfield when it comes to the Legacy Point Sports Complex. They're going to get some tax revenue. They're going to get some special carve-outs and whatnot. We have yet to see that really get shovels in the ground, but you've got headlines here about the ongoing questions of what's going to happen with the Bears Stadium, and in particular, what kind of carve-outs are they going to get with all of the subsidies or the tax provisions they might get, and how that's going to be impacting the taxpayers in Arlington Heights, because they're looking to possibly get out of Chicago and set up in Arlington Heights at an old racetrack there. So the Bears, they're looking at a package of legislation that could possibly help them in their efforts. So the headline here from Chicago media is that Bears and business groups push to make Arlington Heights subsidy plan more than just X's and O's on Blackboard. So no legislation is filed yet, but the Chicago Sun-Times laying out that supporters of a plan to subsidize a proposed Arlington Heights stadium for Chicago Bears, drawing up their plans and looking at a variety of things. A summary of the proposal: the team said 35 other states have similar tax incentives to attract major developments, leaving Illinois at a disadvantage. They say that the Bears proposal would apply a pilot incentive only for projects worth more than $500 million of capital investment. A stadium alone is estimated to cost $2.5 billion for the Arlington Heights Bears proposal. So tax incentives, is that something that you're down with? I know a lot of people are going to argue, hey, if they have this built for Arlington Heights, it's going to be an economic driver, and there's going to be all kinds of other economic stimulus just by the natural progression of people wanting to go to Bears games. Listen, I get that, but at the same time, you've got tax subsidies that could go for other important functions of government, like paying pensions, like paying for law enforcement, or ensuring that roads are clear and good. But the Bears looking to get some kind of statewide legislation in place that would have municipalities and private developers come to agreements and tax incentives and so on. But you also have other avenues of the sports world that could be getting some tax subsidies, including NASCAR. They just announced that up in Chicago, their street race. They're not necessarily, I haven't seen any carve-outs specifically for that race, but you can imagine that they're still going to have some kind of subsidization, because you're going to have law enforcement on scene to help set up barricades, to help manage the flow of the crowd. So is NASCAR going to be reimbursing the city of Chicago for any of that cost? Regardless, that's coming up here soon. And you've got the race that's already announced that they've got some concerts lined up. The Chainsmokers, Miranda Lambert, they're going to perform full-length concerts around the Chicago Street Race Series July 1st and the 2nd with tickets on sale. And it's going to cost about $270 for general admission. And you can actually get some higher class tickets for about $415. Those tickets already on sale. So NASCAR looking to race the streets of Chicago, and how that's going to play out with the cost to taxpayers in Chicago for law enforcement, for the ability to ultimately manage the streets. All of this while the Bears are looking to get out of Chicago and move to Arlington Heights, but setting up some kind of tax incentives. So we could talk about that. Something else that's also on the docket for next hour we could tackle as well as the progressive income tax. That seems to be making its way back into the ether, into the public discourse, after it was shot down back in 2020. Something we meant to talk about earlier this week. We just didn't get time to do it, but we could do that later on in the next hour. But we do plan on opening things up quite a bit, including maybe a debate back and forth of Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, versus J.B. Pritzker, the Illinois governor. There seems to be some national media that are trying to pit the two together as possibly what? Is that going to be the matchup for 2024 for the president? We'll see what happens there, but maybe we work that into the conversation next hour. And some body cam footage of the Paul Pelosi attack could be coming out today. So when are we going to see that? What's that going to show? So those are just some of the things that we could tackle here on WMAY. Hey, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Of course, I've seen an increased amount of people tuning in on YouTube and Twitter and elsewhere. That's pretty incredible. I appreciate all of the support there. You can follow me on Twitter, on YouTube. Just search Bishop on Air. Make it happen. Follow along. We broadcast the show live 6 to 9 weekday mornings. So check it out and take part. Comment, call in. It's easy to do so, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here with Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. Tons more to get to, all right? Coming up now on 8 o'clock, and we'll just open it up next hour. It's Friday, and it's been a long week. I've definitely done my fair share of long days, so you can help drive the next hour, all right? Stay tuned. Much more coming up.
From the Fly SPI Studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's News and Talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. Just hours from now, the release of police body cam footage in the beating death of Tyree Nichols in Memphis. And that city is on edge. The brutal and deadly assault being compared to the 1991 police beating of Rodney King.
Outrage over the roles prosecutors say 5 ex-Memphis police officers played in the death of Tyree Nichols. Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Desmond Mills Jr., Justin Smith, and Emmett Martin III, all facing felony criminal charges, including second-degree murder and aggravated kidnapping and assault.
ABC's El Lopez. Also being released today, police body cam video in San Francisco showing the attack on the husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Paul Pelosi was beaten in the head with a hammer and suffered serious injuries.
It's one day at a time. He's made some progress, but it's be about at least 3 more months, I think, until he'll be back to normal. But the prayers are very helpful.
Suspect David DePape facing a slew of charges, including attempted murder. The National Archives sending a letter asking former U.S. presidents and vice presidents to look for any classified documents they might have. That after President Biden, former President Trump, and former Vice President Mike Pence all had top-secret docs.
In a letter sent to representatives for presidents going all the way back to Ronald Reagan, the archives asked them to ensure they didn't inadvertently hold on to official documents, writing the responsibility to comply with the Presidential Records Act does not diminish after the end of an administration.
ABC's Mary Bruce. Presidents Obama, Clinton, and George W. Bush have all responded, saying they have no classified materials in their possession. Special counsel investigations are underway over the Trump and Biden docs. This is ABC News.
Bedtime is rough, even for Peanut. That's why people will try anything to fall asleep. Headstands before bed, even blowing bubbles. But Ashley has a trick that works every time. A new Tempur-Pedic mattress. It adapts to your body's needs to help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. You'll wake up feeling refreshed every day. Even Peanut agrees. So ditch the wacky bedtime rituals. Head to Ashley to take home a Tempur-Pedic today.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com.
All right. right, this hour, we could talk about the gun stuff. We could talk about the Safety Act stuff. We could talk about Pritzker v. DeSantis, or maybe the progressive tax and sports subsidies and the Pelosi video. I mean, it's all on the table. So let's get your phone calls. 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here on WMAY, 217-629-7970. It is now 8:03 on WMAY. It's Friday!
News,
weather,
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, Governor J.B. Pritzker commented on the dispute between Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the College Board over the contents of an African-American studies course. DeSantis directed Florida schools not to offer the course because he says it engages in woke ideology, including topics like queer theory and abolishing prisons. Pritzker says Illinois will reject any changes made because of what he calls Florida's racist and homophobic laws. Both men are being discussed as potential presidential candidates in 2024. The Springfield School Board is considering a proposal to spend more than $200,000 on a program to bring yoga and mindfulness classes to the city's elementary schools. The program is designed to help students cope with anxiety, deal with trauma, and develop better self-regulation techniques. The cost of $192,000 for instruction includes teacher training, while $35,000 would be dedicated for supplies and would be paid for out of federal COVID relief funding. Direct daily flights between Springfield and Dallas end June 1st. American Airlines is ending its Dallas flights because of low ridership and will switch to twice daily flights from Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport to Chicago O'Hare. American joins United in offering daily flights to O'Hare, while Allegiant Air provides service to Florida and Phoenix. Springfield Airport Director Mark Hanna says the airport continues to talk with carriers about potential new routes and options for local passengers. Democratic State Senator Robert Martwick plans to reintroduce the idea of a graduated income tax after voters narrowly rejected a constitutional amendment to make that change in 2020, despite support from Governor J.B. Pritzker. Martwick says the focus will be on providing middle-class tax relief, but hasn't released details. Republicans responded by introducing a resolution that calls on lawmakers to respect the will of voters and reject any graduated tax proposal. Pritzker says he's not focused on bringing the idea up again. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
X with a double X battery, generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car, and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
X with a double X battery, generations of power.
Hi, I'm Misty Busher. For the last 8 years, I've been your Springfield City Treasurer. During that time, I modernized the office and earned over $8 million in interest. I'm proud to be a Springfield resident, and my husband Mike and I have raised our 2 children here. I'm running for mayor, and in the coming months, I will share with you my specific ideas on how I will bring new energy and leadership to help our city grow and prosper. I'm Misty Busher, and I'm working to earn your vote for Springfield mayor.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Busher.
If you're in need of care, that's all you should be concerned about, not the hassles of out-of-pocket cost or whether your doctor is in-network. We've heard you. Springfield Clinic Advantage, an employer health plan designed locally with a real understanding of the healthcare needs of the patients in our community. A plan that guarantees you'll never be out of network with your Springfield Clinic doctors again. Your doctors, your health plan, your advantage. Visit springfieldclinic.com/advantage.
Everywhere you are, everywhere you live, with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, mostly cloudy and breezy with a high near 44, low around 27. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high near 47. Chance of a wintry mix tomorrow night with a low around 25. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 31, low around 16. Monday, mostly cloudy with a high near 23, low around 9 degrees. Tuesday, chance of snow with a high near 22. And Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 27. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Seems to be a great day to be born if you wanted to be a sportscaster. Okay. Chris Collinsworth turned 64. Julie Foudy, the Hall of Fame soccer player, and was also a sportscaster, turns 52. And Keith Olbermann turns 64, Wow. So a lot of people.
Yeah.
Here's green Toyota, Volkswagen, Audi's Casey Lane.
We were talking yesterday about electric vehicles, and here's another one that we have. It's a 2022 Volvo XC40 P8 Plus all-wheel drive. We've got it priced $4,005 below market value, and like I said, it's a 2022. It only has 7,800 miles on it.
Where does he find these?
Yeah, navigation, leather, sunroof, heated seats, all that stuff. So come on down if you're looking for electric and check it out.
Also, I don't know what you want to do with this, but Tom Cruise's first wife, Mimi Rogers, is turning 67 today.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. We're on West Wabash. We would love to see you, and we have so many great things, as Casey pointed out, for you to see. Remember, a green Toyota, Volkswagen, Audi.
We're all in this together.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
Let's get some of your phone calls this morning on a Friday. It's now 8:10, live and local. I'm Greg Bishop. And I'm not going to lie, Fridays are about the time that I'm ready to just hang my stuff up and just be done for the weekend. I work pretty heavy hours, so the weekends are mine. I don't know what to expect throughout the day today. We still got some things that could pop, like, say, a temporary restraining order ruling out of White County, where Thomas DeVore argued that case. His legal team arguing that case Wednesday in White County on behalf of nearly 1,700 plaintiffs in that challenge of Illinois' gun law. So is that something that could happen today? I don't know. It was last week, about 4:45 Friday, when you had the temporary restraining order drop in the Effingham County case. So that could possibly happen today. You've got the Paul Pelosi video, the body cam video that could be published today, so we'll be watching out for that. You've also got the story of some police beating up a individual and the body cam footage being found on that. So obviously some national stories getting a lot of attention. And just also, we have barely touched on this week. The classified documents that are being found all over the place. There might be some classified documents here. Let me make sure that these things I printed out today don't have classifications on them. But I mean, it's getting kind of out of hand. What in the world? The fact that you got the vice president being found with classified documents, the former vice president Mike Pence, he's from Central Casting, and he's being found with these documents. After he said, I would never take home classified documents. Well, Mr. Vice President, it looks like there were some classified documents. So you can sound off on that. So many other things to get to this morning. Of course, Typically, we do Hero of the Week in this segment as well, where you can take time to highlight who you think's gone above and beyond to help out the community. It's a great way to end the week. So if you've got a good hero vote, you can throw that out there as well. But really, a hodgepodge of things for you to sound off on. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Morning, Greg. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, I'm using my iPods. My AirPods. Anyway, I just wanted to say we've got a huge problem today. It's greed, government, and corporations. We have this vicious revolving door of government and corporation. You've got, well, from my side of things, I'm heavy into the stock market. And you've got regulatory authorities such as the SEC who turn around and take jobs with the different Wall Street firms.
Right.
You've got people in Congress, the committee on, that watches over the banking sector. They revolve right back around and they work for them.
Well, it's the same thing, too, with the pharmaceutical industry, where you've got regulators that then go and work for the pharmaceutical industry in high-ranking positions. Begs the question about conflicts of interest, begs the question about a whole host of things that could be nefarious.
Yeah, and that whole Jordan Walker thing is just blows my mind. I've watched that video over and over and over again, trying to not discredit Mr. O'Keefe, but I always like to try to find another way to look at it. And
For people who aren't familiar with what you're talking about, and I only have seen a few things about this, Project Veritas has a new undercover video, and then also the reaction of them approaching the subject and essentially being locked in a restaurant. And for people who aren't familiar with it, give us your understanding. This is a Pfizer executive that they caught. What was going on there?
So, yeah, he's a Pfizer executive. They say he's 2 reports removed from the actual CEO, Borla, of Pfizer. So he's pretty high up the chain. And he was honeypotted into going out on a date, which he thought was a date, but he was recorded and asked a series of, well-thought-out questions by the undercover Project Veritas journalist. And in that, he basically admitted to gain of function that Pfizer is actually considering or in the process of in order to create more vaccines and keep selling them to people. At one point, he says that COVID itself and the fact that they will be able to make these new vaccines is a cash cow for Pfizer. He said that when the undercover journalist asked if this was gain of function, he said, well, no, we don't tell the public that. What we call it is directed evolution. So it just goes on, and all your listeners need to go out if you go on Twitter, I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Yeah, and I pulled it up on Twitter just to kind of show where people can find it. Of course, Project Veritas on Twitter being restored by Elon Musk, as was James O'Keefe restored on Twitter by Elon Musk. But it's a fascinating story, and what's interesting, too, is what I have seen of this is that the subject there that's being recorded undercover, when he was confronted by James O'Keefe, he freaked out, and he's like, what is this? Is this real life? He then started saying that he was just lying to impress a date. He came out right up front saying that, without hesitation, saying that calling himself a liar, saying that it was all hyperbole, it was all over the top. I was lying to try to impress a date. And then things got physical. Then, iPads started being slapped out of hands. You had James O'Keefe's security trying to keep him secure. For some reason, the restaurant they were in locked the doors, and James O'Keefe's like, please let us out. So it got pretty tenuous and rather fascinating, but that's something that people could check out. I appreciate you bringing that to our attention, and I'm sure people not seeing this on corporate media, they have to go to some of those alternative channels to find all of this.
Well, hey, I'll tell you real quick before I let you go, Greg. If I'm out on a date and I'm lying about my Porsche that's in the shop. I'm lying about going to the gym every day. Things like that. You're not going to lie about destroying humanity.
Well, yeah, it's bizarre to think that would be something people are willing to lie about. I appreciate the call. Springfield's Morning News, it is WMAY. You can call in live and local at 217-629-7970. We'll get more coming up here on WMAY and revisit some of the other headlines that we've been covering all morning long. So stay tuned. It's right here with Springfield's Morning News. Now 8:17 from Culver's West on Wabash. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where you've got a high of around, mild 44 degrees today, with possibility of some flurries. The low of 27 tonight for Saturday, 20% chance of rain, the high of 47. The low of 25 Saturday night. Into Sunday, cloudy with a high of 31. Monday, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, 23 the high. It's going to start getting even colder throughout the week next week, with Tuesday, the high of 22 and 27 the high. Wednesday, we're looking at single-digit lows for next week. Right now, 23 degrees at 8:18 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Why waste another night on a mattress that's not comfortable or supportive? This is Caleb Kitzman with Verlo Mattress. Our mattresses aren't dropped off by the truckload like most mattress stores. At Verlo, we handcraft every mattress in our local factory. That means we custom fit a mattress for you, not the other way around. Stop in this month and pair any of our mattresses with an adjustable base and get up to $200 off. Verlo Mattress. We're not just building a better mattress, we're building a better night's sleep for less.
Save up to $600 during Verlo's clearance sale.
Right now, during the Verlo Mattress Clearance Sale, you can save even more with Verlo's already low consumer direct prices. Oh, you'll find phenomenal savings on floor models and discontinued mattresses. And all our mattresses are made locally, just for you, and are backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Oh, but you better hurry. The sale ends soon. Wake up, sleep better, and save at Verlo.
The ginormous indoor auto sale event is back, this time at the Old Shop and Save on Chatham Road. The Old Shop and Save is now Drive and Save. Green Hyundai and the Goats at Green Certified West have moved all used vehicles indoors to the Old Shop and Save. Hundreds of vehicles all marked down indoors at the ginormous Drive and Save Indoor Auto Sale at the corner of Chatham Road and Wabash. Aisle after aisle of fresh local trades. No freezer section here. All these vehicles are inside at a balmy 72 degrees. You don't even need to clip coupons to get 0% financing and huge savings on cars, trucks, minivans, SUVs, and more. And with Mike Quimby being there, you know you'll get more for your trade than anywhere. The ginormous Drive and Save Indoor Auto Sale at the Old Shop and Save is going on now. Corner of Chatham Road in Wabash. 0% financing for 36 months, $10,000 max finance with approved credit through Heartland Credit Union.
As you sit slightly sideways staring at a ditch, it's about now you're thinking, I sure wish I'd have visited Lauterbach and done something about these tires. Worry not, we've all been there. And Lauterbach is here. It's the Lauterbach man, and I'm overlooking stacks of fresh tires ready for your car. Putting two and two together, it's pretty clear that a place called Lauterbach Tire is quite exceptional when it comes to those rubber miracles. See, good tread and properly balanced tires can mean the difference between you choosing when to stop and that slushy ditch choosing for you. And it's not exaggerating to say better tires can mean a safer Springfield. I'm serious about safety, and I know you are too. So let's meet over lunch or whenever is convenient for you and find you a nice set of safe tires. You'll be happy, and that car in front of you right now will be happy too. See my talented techs at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash today, and drive safely now.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Those computer replacements and upgrades you got for the holidays really came in handy. However, recycling doesn't mean putting the old stuff in the closet. Take it to BLH Computers. Computers, hard drives, televisions, printers, and accessories, all of it can be safely recycled by the E. Stewart Certified Recycler of Central Illinois. That's also why they're the largest recycler in our region. So skip the closet and recycle it at BLH Computers in Springfield, Jacksonville, and Taylorville, and online at blhcomputers.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
It's not quite the Pelosi video we were thinking of getting later on today, but apparently somebody on Twitter says that Paul Pelosi's DUI body cam footage released. They say they tried to hide this since May 2022. Taking a look at that on Twitter. But expecting to get other body cam footage, including of the police showing up to the call of an attack on Paul Pelosi, the former Speaker of the U.S. House's husband, Nancy Pelosi. So we'll see if we get that out at some point. It is Springfield's Morning News. You can always call in live and local at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here. And, of course, we've touched on all kinds of things today. We started off by getting out there the fact that the Illinois State Police have moved to consolidate several federal cases into one, and that was expected. There was going to be some kind of consolidation, but the fact that they took a county level case that was issued in state court, moved it out of state court into federal court, and then said, hey, since this was the first case filed, we're going to consolidate everything into this case. People already raising to me questions about, number one, the federal judge who's going to oversee this being an Obama appointee in the Southern District of Illinois, and then number two, the lead counsel in the Crawford County case that moved from state court to federal court, people being suspect of that individual as the lead attorney in this. So we'll be watching that closely to see what happens with the gun ban and the state police looking to consolidate that. But we also talked about how the McHenry County State's Attorney is now the first state's attorney to file a lawsuit against the gun ban. They've got a temporary restraining order motion that they expect to have heard on Monday. So we'll be monitoring that and get you the latest. So a lot of moving pieces there. So that's just some of what we talked about, including some sheriffs reaffirming that they are not going to enforce the gun ban. State Representative Adam Niemerg had those sheriffs with him. We may revisit some of that audio a bit later on as well. Good morning. You're on WMAY. What's up?
Hey, Greg, I'm going to change the subject a little bit.
That's fine.
The person that was beaten in Memphis by police and died, do we know, maybe I've missed it, but what was the reason for the original police encounter with him?
Yeah, and I really haven't been following that story. I think that's Tyree Nichols is who you're talking about, and the law enforcement that are under a big magnifying scope here, rightfully so, because anytime somebody is either maimed or loses their life at the hands of law enforcement, we have to scrutinize that thoroughly. So I don't know exactly what the rationale was for the traffic stop. I've seen some speculation explanation that even the chief is saying that they don't really know what the rationale was for the traffic stop. But, yeah, people obviously watching that case very close.
Well, apparently they're going to release it, I think, on YouTube at 6 Central.
Wow.
They want to wait till all the kids are home, out of school. Obviously, it's a Friday. But, you know.
Yeah, it could get very explosive. Let's just put it that way, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, I just didn't know if I missed it or not.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. 217-629-7970 is the phone number. Good morning. You're on WMAY. Thanks for your patience. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, that's you. Go ahead.
I had a question for you. I was listening to the mayoral debate, and two things I didn't hear. I was wondering why they didn't talk about some of the violent crimes that has happened in Harvard Park. I didn't hear anything about crime. Because I live in the Harvard Park neighborhood, and on 6th and 7th Street, there was a shooting and it had to do, I believe, with a gang indicator.
I am having some problem hearing you, and if I'm having problems hearing you, likely people listening are having a problem hearing you. But I think what I heard was you say you listened to the mayoral debates here in Springfield, and you did not hear the issue of crime discussed to the level that you wanted to hear. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, and listen, that was just the first of what I expect to be several mayoral debates between incumbent Jim Langfelder and the challenger Misty Buscher, and likely crime is going to be a focal point because you're right, there have been instances of some crimes downtown. Yeah, they may not have been during normal business hours, but anytime somebody opens fire in a downtown area, that's a problem. So, yeah, I think the issue of crime, we heard a lot about pop-up street parties or block parties that were happening last summer and the summer before last, and how they are going to get control of that. You've got a whole host of concerns, obviously, as any municipality has to deal with, especially a municipality the size of Springfield. So that's going to be an ongoing conversation, no question, as to the debate between those two individuals looking to be the next mayor of the city of Springfield. Appreciate the calls. We'll get more of them. 217-629-7970 is the phone number. Coming up now on 8:30. Got another half hour left, so let's get your calls and finish strong. Right now, though, let's get a headline check here on WMAY.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, NASA is marking the 20th anniversary of the Space Shuttle Columbia tragedy during its annual tribute to fallen astronauts. More than 100 people gathered under a gray sky at Florida's Kennedy Space Center yesterday to remember Columbia's crew of 7 and the 18 other astronauts killed in the line of duty. NASA's 2 shuttle accidents account for more than half of those astronauts. Columbia was destroyed during re-entry in 2003 after a piece of the aircraft came off and punctured the left wing during liftoff. Direct daily flights between Springfield and Dallas end June 1st. American Airlines is ending its Dallas flights because of low ridership and will switch to twice daily flights from Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport to Chicago O'Hare. American joins United in offering daily flights to O'Hare, while Allegiant Air provides service to Florida and Phoenix. Springfield Airport Director Mark Hanna says the airport continues to talk with carriers about potential new routes and options for local passengers. Governor J.B. Pritzker commented on the dispute between Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the College Board over the contents of an African American Studies course. DeSantis directed Florida schools not to offer the course because he says it engages in woke ideology, including topics like queer theory and abolishing prisons. Pritzker says Illinois will reject any changes made because of what he calls Florida's racist and homophobic laws. Both men are being discussed as potential presidential candidates in 2024. Democratic State Senator Robert Martwick plans to reintroduce the idea of a graduated income tax after voters narrowly rejected a constitutional amendment to make that change in 2020, despite support from Governor J.B. Pritzker. Martwick says the focus will be on providing middle-class tax relief, but hasn't released details. Republicans responded by introducing a resolution that calls on lawmakers to respect the will of voters and reject any graduated tax proposal. Pritzker says he's not focused on bringing the idea up again. Tuition is rising for incoming freshmen at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, but not at the University of Illinois Springfield. The U of I Board of Trustees approved a 1.9% increase in tuition for the Urbana-Champaign and Chicago campuses. For Urbana-Champaign, a full-time student would pay $12,712 a year, an increase of $238. UIS will continue to charge $321.50 per credit hour. Under Illinois law, tuition rates for incoming freshmen are locked in for 4 years. The candidates for Springfield mayor differ over what should happen next to Wyndham City Center downtown. Incumbent Mayor Jim Langfelder supports the owner's plan to convert dozens of units in the 30-story hotel to apartments, so long as the Wyndham retains 225 hotel rooms and conference space for conventions. Challenger Misty Buscher says the Wyndham should not convert any of its current hotel rooms to apartments since downtown shops rely on visitors rather than city residents for the bulk of their business. Wednesday's candidate forum can be heard on demand at WMAY.com. Your dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Where do you go when you want to get in shape?
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
High quality exercise equipment for your home.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
3120 Montvale Drive.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
787-9930.
The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store.
The quest for the healthier you begins at
The Body Quest Store.
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
If you're in need of care, that's all you should be concerned about, not the hassles of out-of-pocket cost or whether your doctor is in network. We've heard you. Springfield Clinic Advantage, an employer health plan designed locally with a real understanding of the healthcare needs of the patients in our community. A plan that guarantees you'll never be out of network with your Springfield Clinic doctors again. Your doctors, your health plan, your advantage. Visit springfieldclinic.com/advantage.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport, SPI to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
Listen and watch interviews with the biggest newsmakers. Subscribe to 92.7 WMAY on YouTube.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Today, mostly cloudy and breezy with a high near 44, low around 27. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a high near 47. Chance of a wintry mix tomorrow night with a low around 25. Sunday, cloudy with a high near 31, low around 16. Monday, mostly cloudy with a high near 23, low around 9 degrees. Tuesday, chance of snow with a high near 22. And Wednesday, partly sunny with a high near 27. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Originally, this was a spinoff of the hit show Happy Days. It started on this day in 1976. I'm talking, of course, about Laverne and Shirley.
Schlemiel, Schlemazel.
And I understand you know what that means now, so that's great. We'll hear about that in a moment. Here's Green Toyota Volkswagen Audi's own Casey Lane.
If you're looking for all electric, how about the certified pre-owned 2021 Audi e-tron Quattro Premium Plus? It is all electric, leather, sunroof, heated seats, cooled seats, cruise control, all the bells and whistles on this thing, and it only has 3,500 miles on it. We've got it priced $3,780 below market value. This is an exciting vehicle, so come on out and take a test drive.
I'm waiting. Schlemiel, Schlemazel, what?
Okay, so the Schlemiel is the one who spills stuff all the time, and the Schlemazel is the one that gets spilled on.
And I won't even get into Huss and Fuss Incorporated. All right. Anyway, see us on West Wabash. Hello. Remember, at Green Toyota Volkswagen Audi.
We're all in this together.
How would you like to work for the area's premier multimedia marketing and advertising company right here in Springfield? Well, here's your opportunity. At Midwest Family, we're looking for talented and dynamic account executives who thrive in a fast-paced working environment. Those who are passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive. Are you a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have a grasp on today's digital media? And do you have the ability to cultivate lasting relationships and partnerships? If this sounds like this is for you, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on our careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, we offer unique sales career opportunities where you're given a challenging mission, world-class tools like HubSpot CRM, ongoing training, and the chance to realize your full potential as a marketing and advertising sales professional. This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager at Midwest Family Springfield. Are you my next candidate? If so, please apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Want that sale price? First, you have to give up your data. Smartphone apps make purchasing simple, but they also come at a huge cost: your privacy. I'm Kim Commando, America's Digital Pro. Many grocery stores are ditching physical loyalty cards for smartphone apps. But what if you don't want to download an unfamiliar app? Unfortunately, you're missing out. Consumers who don't participate in loyalty programs tend to pay as much as 3 times more for a single item. Over time, that adds up. But if you want discounts without a digital footprint, number 1, look for stores that don't require loyalty programs. Trader Joe's, Walmart, and Target come to mind. Everyone gets the lowest price. Number 2, look for physical coupons. Most grocery stores have a coupon section right on their website for you to print, snip, and hand in. And number 3, ask for the discount anyway. Behind the counter, cashiers usually have a code to charge the digital price without you needing to have a loyalty app or a code. And for the latest in tech, be sure to get my new daily longer podcast. It's called Kim Commando Today. What do you do when something just doesn't work? You Google it. Too often, that's a complete waste of time. You need someone to hold your hand. Maybe you're lucky enough to have someone to call for help or come over. But let's face it, they're too busy for you. Finding tech support online is risky. That's why I partner with top tech experts to give you 24/7 live support that you can trust. They'll fix your problems or there's no charge. I'm so proud to tell you about GetKimsHelp.com. Whether it's a problem with your Wi-Fi, printer, smartphone, computer, TV, smart speaker, or another connected device, the experts at GetKimsHelp.com fix most issues in 10 minutes or less. High-tech troubleshooting tools like virtual house calls let them resolve even the most complex issues quickly. So stop Googling. Have your problem solved right now. Visit GetKimsHelp.com. It's an affordable way to fix problems with the help from experts who you can trust. GetKimsHelp.com.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's news and talk.
And we're back with Springfield's Morning News, where you can always chime in live and local. Finishing up the rest of this hour with your phone calls and just an overview of all the things we've talked about so far this morning. One of them being that the state is seeking to consolidate federal lawsuits against the state's gun ban as a new lawsuit filed in state court from a state's attorney's office against the gun and magazine ban. This, of course, is after you've got just dozens of sheriffs across the state saying they're not going to enforce it. And you also had sheriffs reaffirm their position, saying they're not going to enforce unconstitutional laws as they see it. And they say that the gun ban is unconstitutional. We may hear some of that coming up, of course, but it all depends on how many phone calls we get, where you can call in live and local at 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're up. What's up?
Hey, I heard this from my brother the other day, and I'm not on the internet, but he said that in Champaign County, Pritzker's family is supposed to be building a private 10-lane gun range. Have you heard that?
Well, what I've heard is that in Wisconsin, a site has been given approval for a gun range, and there might be some kind of association with the Pritzker family in that. I haven't heard anything about it in Champaign County, but I honestly, I haven't really delved into that story too much.
Okay, well, I figured I'd ask you.
Sure. And I've seen it reported out of, I think, the Kenosha news outlets have that story. I had it pulled up earlier this week, but listen, I mean, there's only so much of the gun story I can track. And what I've been doing is tracking the latest litigation. And the latest litigation is you've got 3 lawsuits in federal court with a 4th that was moved from state court to federal court, and the state police looking to consolidate 3 of the existing federal cases into this 4th newly minted federal case that comes from state court, and state police looking to consolidate that. But, I think it's important. We re-aired just a little snippet of the Illinois State Rifle Association's Richard Pearson sharing with us yesterday the importance of getting a restraining order against the gun ban before Illinois State Police open up the window to start registration of guns, which is going to be October 1st. Here's Richard Pearson talking about the importance of getting that restraining order. And we'll get to that, of course. Got to do this, that, and the other, and log back into this account. That's awesome. Gotta love it. So here is Richard Pearson from the State Rifle Association, who talked with us yesterday about this.
So if we get a temporary restraining order, then that stops everything and gives us time to argue for a permanent restraining order. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of legal maneuvering in that time after that is done.
So he wants to make sure that there is a temporary restraining order statewide so that individuals' Second Amendment rights, as he says, are not trampled upon any further. So will that happen before October 1st with all of these various cases and the movements and how, is it going to be consolidated? Are we going to have temporary restraining orders issued county by county until all of a sudden there's a consolidation on the statewide cases? So a lot of movement there. But with the McHenry County State's Attorney's Office filing a lawsuit, I did chat with the Assistant State's Attorney in McHenry County, and he had to share with us about why they're filing this case. And he laid it out. This is Todd Owens from the McHenry County State's Attorney's Office.
Well, we believe that the law is blatantly and facially unconstitutional, being compelled essentially to participate in the prosecution of an offense, or an offense that we believe is unconstitutional, puts us in an ethical quandary. Essentially having to enforce a law that we don't believe is square with the Second Amendment.
So again, state's attorney, the first that I'm aware of, filing a lawsuit against the gun ban. Will other states' attorneys follow suit and file lawsuits? We'll see if that happens, but it's obviously a moving target, no pun intended, when it comes to these various lawsuits. So I've been tracking all of these lawsuits, watching where they're going. My count now, I think there's 8. Let's see here, 2 from Tom DeVore. One has a restraining order in Effingham County. The state's appealed that. DeVore's responded to it. That's in the 5th Circuit Appellate Court and State Court. So that's one case that Tom DeVore has in Effingham County. Another case in White County. We could get a temporary restraining order ruling anytime now. I'm not sure if it's going to happen today or Monday or when that's going to drop, but we could get that in the White County case. Then you have in federal courts, the Crawford County case that started in state court that's now been moved to federal court. You have 3 other cases separate, the Illinois State Rifle Association's case, the Illinois Gun Rights Alliance case, the National Shooting Sports Foundation case, 3 separate cases that the state police motioned to have the Crawford County case be the lead case in consolidating those 4 cases. But what's not clear is how a case against Naperville's gun ban that was filed back in September is going to impact the consolidation efforts state police have, because that case against Naperville's gun ban this week was amended to include challenging the state's gun ban. So is that case going to impact the consolidation efforts in the Southern District? We'll watch that closely as well. So I think I've lost count. 3 state-level cases, including the one from McHenry County, and then ISRA, the NSSF, Illinois Gun Rights Alliance, and the Crawford County case. So that's 7 cases. I expect there to be more cases filed. We'll keep an eye on all of that for you. 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Are you taking hero votes?
We can, yeah. If you want to take a crack at it, go ahead.
Man, I'll tell you what. I was watching Tucker Carlson last night, Bishop, and talking about mayoral candidate races, Chicago, the candidate Willie Wilson was on Tucker Carlson just lambasting the current mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot.
And what did he have to say? What was his goal?
It was perfect. He was like, he will go down in history as the worst mayor ever to reside over a city of any size in the United States of America. And he was just going to town to the point where, I'm not a huge Tucker fan, but Tucker just let him speak. I was like, man, this guy would make a hell of a mayor.
And Willie Wilson has been in politics up in Chicago for a long time. He's independently successful, a businessman. I believe he dealt in medical supplies and made his millions that way. He's been, if you recall, he gave out a couple of $1 million in free gas not too long ago.
He said, Tucker, I don't even want a paycheck. I just want to fix my broken city, Tucker.
Yeah.
Pay me nothing. Let me do the job.
Right on. So I take it your hero vote goes to Willie Wilson up in Chicago. Appreciate the call. 217-629-7970. That's how you can chime in here live and local. Something else I wanted to revisit from this morning is the sheriffs that continue to speak out against the state's gun ban. State Representative Adam Niemerg held a news event yesterday with sheriffs. And in particular, you've got a couple who spoke. And one of them being the Crawford County Sheriff. He sounded off and let his voice be heard as to why he's not going to enforce what he says is an unconstitutional law.
I'm a constitutional officer.
Here is the Crawford County Sheriff yesterday during a news conference.
I am a constitutional officer. I swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States first and foremost. And that me and several of the other sheriffs in the state, like most of us, several state's attorneys, along with the Crawford County State's Attorney, have sent out these letters stating that we feel this law that has recently passed is unconstitutional, and how we do not want to, or how we are not going to enforce any of that law.
And then you also have another sheriff that spoke, this being Brandon Francis. He is the Jasper County Sheriff. He was also joining Adam Niemerg during this news conference, addressing his concerns. And he was asked if he has any fear of any retaliation for being an elected official not supporting or enforcing what he sees as an unconstitutional law.
Obviously, there's discretion in which law that we enforce, but a law that would be a violation of our constitutional rights is something that we would not enforce. I mean, that's, we don't commonly see that, but in this case, it's happened.
So, interesting to hear, again, more sheriffs reaffirm that they're not going to enforce what they see as an unconstitutional law. And that's like 90-plus sheriffs across the state's 102 counties that have come out explicitly saying they're not going to enforce this law. How do you go about even enforcing something like this? You can always sound off 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. And we'll finish things up next here on WMAY. It is now 8:49, so stay tuned. All right, it's Culver's West on Wabash time.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car, and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. it's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
John, the price of groceries is enough to send somebody into a panic mode these days.
Yeah, especially when the refrigerator goes kaput.
Even more so. We got a call from a customer who had that problem with a freezer load of those expensive groceries.
And that'll keep you awake at night just thinking about it.
Right. So, because Dick Van Dyke stocks the 100 most used parts, we were able to send a factory-trained tech out to her place to fix the problem before she lost any of that food.
And he wasn't some subcontractor either.
Trained right here locally by the team of Dick Van Dyke.
You know, one way to fight inflation?
Yep.
Keep from having to buy expensive stuff twice.
Yes, you got that right.
This is Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store, which means you have the comfort of knowing that if anything goes wrong, we'll make it right. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
If you drive, you need the free Get Upside gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. The free Get Upside gas app gets you up to 50 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas. 3 million people have earned cash back with Get Upside just for buying gas.
I always use Get Upside.
It's just free money for buying gas.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play. Use promo code PASS. Earn cash back on gas on every fill up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code PASS. Get Upside. Code PASS.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
All right, final segments for the week, and you can always chime in live and local, or if you're listening online, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. Something we didn't get to this week, the conversation around a possible change to the Illinois Constitution concerning income taxes. Illinois has a flat income tax in the state constitution, and lawmakers have changed the rates, but they can only change the rates for everybody. It's a flat income tax. But if you recall, there's been a push for years to change the state constitution from a flat income tax to an income tax with higher rates for higher earners. So the more successful you are, even as a small business, you might have to pay more if this was to be approved by voters. But back in 2020, voters rejected the progressive income tax. Well, there's apparently some rumblings to bring that back, and some lawmakers at the State House having this debate as they enter a new General Assembly. You had Republicans that addressed this during a news conference earlier this week, and we just didn't have time to get to it. But here is Senate Minority Leader John Curran talking about a resolution they're filing to make sure that the state does not have the prospect of a progressive income tax.
We are here today to talk about our firm resolution to reject the latest attempts at changing to a progressive income tax. The proposal by Senator Rob Martwick that we stand firmly in opposition to. The results of the 2020 ballot initiative were unmistakably clear. The people have spoken. They don't want to change our Constitution to a progressive income tax. It failed in the collar counties and throughout the rest of the state, despite a $60 million campaign designed to sell this to the voters. It failed because Illinois voters are sick and tired of writing blank checks to their state government, and the government keeps coming back for more and more. Despite the proponents' plan, voters see that this will raise taxes on everyone, the middle class, and could open up the door to taxing retirement income. Illinois already has the highest tax burden in the nation and implements the highest corporate income tax rate as well. It's time to move in a new direction that does not include overtaxing the people we are supposed to be representing. The Senate Republicans are committed to listening to the people and fighting against the blatant tax increase on Illinois families and businesses. That is why we have introduced this resolution to call on our colleagues from both sides of the aisle to reject any attempt to establish a progressive income tax for the remainder of the 103rd General Assembly.
So again, that's Senate Minority Leader John Curran talking about the resolution that they have, saying that taxpayers are fed up. They don't want to give government a blank check. I was able to talk with State Senator Robert Martwick, who is a proponent of this. However, he says there's nothing been filed yet. There is no constitutional amendment that has been filed at the State House for this General Assembly. But here he is talking about just the overall idea of what he says is the need for a progressive income tax in the state of Illinois.
I don't know how they would know that the voters wouldn't want it since nothing's been filed yet, right? This is an idea. We're working on a proposal. There was a lot of talk of bipartisanship. Well, bipartisanship starts with having an open mind. So the idea that they would propose a resolution or they would propose a resolution to oppose something that they haven't even seen yet is kind of fascinating. Look, two problems remain, and I agree with my friends on the other side of the aisle about this. We overtax the middle class. We have the highest tax burden, middle class tax burden in the country. Yep, we're number one, and we need to reduce that. And the other problem is that we're on a pending financial catastrophe. We're on a path to a place where the state will once again have to cut funding for education, cut funding for essential services, public transportation. We'll stop investing in our roads. Our bridges will crumble because we're not paying attention to that. So this is an idea. Is it the best idea? I don't know. But it's an idea. It's a solution for those problems. What I would say is that this is my solution. What's yours?
So again, that's State Senator Robert Martwick talking about the possibility of a proposed progressive income tax in the state of Illinois, something that would require a constitutional amendment. All right. Appreciate everybody tuning in. What a week, another jam-packed week, and obviously be keeping a close eye on all things that happen with the litigation around guns. So stay with me on Twitter, Bishop on Air on Twitter, also posting on YouTube as well with some of the latest content, even stuff off air. We'll try to update you there, Bishop on Air on YouTube. Have yourselves a great rest of the day. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll be back here live and local from 6 to 9 Monday morning. It's 9 o'clock.